Join us for an insightful episode as we explore the three key client attraction gaps that businesses often encounter. Discover the art of asking the right questions to bridge these gaps and elevate your growth strategy. So tune in and kick up your client attraction game and master your message.
This episode of the Lead Machine Growth Show is brought to you by Lead Machine, the step-by-step, tech-easy system for getting leads online. Are you struggling to get leads from your lead magnet? Are you tired of seeing low conversion rates and losing potential customers? It's time to revive your lead magnet and start attracting more leads. Download our free report, 10 Deadly Lead Magnet Mistakes That Are Costing You Leads, and learn how to create a high-converting lead magnet that engages your audience and drives conversions. Don't let common mistakes hold you back any longer. Revive your lead magnet today and download your free report at www.getleadmachine.com/deadly. Welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show, where you will discover how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream. Paul Guyan, the mastermind behind the Lead Machine, introduces you to trailblazers who inspire you to implement life-changing solutions and systems you can model to nurture your leads and get your offers seen by your ideal clients who will invest in themselves and you. Be sure you visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, tune in and get ready to transform your vision into reality.
And welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show, where passion meets entrepreneurship and dreams become reality. I'm Paul Guyan, your Lead Machine Growth Coach, host and international best-selling author and tech and marketing nerd. And I'm dedicated to helping entrepreneurs like you, coaches, solo entrepreneurs, tackle their tech, master their message, and design their dream. Are you ready to unleash your full potential and achieve extraordinary results? Then you're in the right place. We'll dive deep into the strategies, insights, and stories of trailblazers, such as my guest today, who have overcome the obstacles of technology, marketing, and mindset, and are making a huge impact on their audience and their customers. So buckle up and get ready for an exhilarating ride filled with inspiration, motivation, practical advice, whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level. Let's get this conversation started and turn your dreams into reality. Catharine O'Leary, aka the Quiz Queen, helps entrepreneurs and small businesses create an ideal client attraction system by asking the best questions to attract the best clients. So let me repeat that. Ask the best questions to attract the best clients. As the self-proclaimed quiz queen, she's an expert at asking the right questions to attract the best clients and boost growth. She has spent the last 3 decades working with Fortune 100 companies, including Apple, HP, and impressively, Pepsi, helping them to build brands and grow businesses through market research and customer insights. She now helps entrepreneurs create an ideal client attraction system by asking the best questions to attract those clients. Yeah. So, Catharine, I'm honored to have you on today. It was nice meeting you in the podcast network, which was really kind of fun because I felt like we were like right on the ground level, and we just connected, and here we are. So a couple weeks later. So it's great how networking can work in these days, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, Paul. Yeah. I think we were like, people's numbers like 4 and 5 or something, because we connected really quickly, and had some good, kind of chats on that platform. And it was quite easy to, extend invitations to each other's podcasts. So this is exciting.
Yeah. And I'll be on yours, in a little while too. So that's great. So, the Quiz Queen. I've looked at some of your background, and we've chatted before. So how did you become the Quiz Queen?
It's a good question. So I didn't grow up wanting to be the quiz queen.
I
I
bet.
grew up, yeah, I grew up wanting to be the Wolf of Wall Street because that was way cooler.
Yeah.
And so I went through school. I did business. I actually got 2 degrees in economics, so I'm an economist.
Oh,
Talking about nerding out. And there are very few things that an economist is really, destined for, and that's either working for a bank, working for insurance, or working in research. And so I picked working in market research.
mhm.
And I spent the last 25 years actually in corporate, effectively being a translator between what clients wanted, needed, and desired,
Mhm.
and what businesses wanted to innovate, talk about, and sell.
Yeah.
So we would go out and ask consumers, what they were using, what they wanted, what they were struggling with, and then take those answers back to corporate and say, okay, you know what, like this is a missing gap, maybe a product here, maybe a messaging here. Maybe you need to be approaching this difficulty or challenge with a different offer, different bundle, that kind of thing. Wasn't sure exactly how that would translate into an entrepreneurial business. So I started in network marketing when I left Pepsi,
Hmm.
which was great. Great events, great, great hanging out, great products. But I sucked at lead generation. And I mean, like badly. It was bad, Paul. I was doing all the wrong things. I was doing the paid advertising with no ROI. The hours upon hours of sales calls that were all about, trying to convince and chase versus actually offer anything. And I was getting to a point where I'd either have to go back to corporate or figure it out. And when I realized that I didn't miss the 3 hour a day commute enough to figure out how to do, audios and podcasts in the car, there was just no way to get back in the car. So I found quizzes and I found quiz funnels, and that's what I do now is I help entrepreneurs attract their ideal clients with those 3 a.m. questions, and expanding their authority and really following up with those best clients for them that are ready for them and are ready to take those next steps with them, and not every single person out there, which is it's a
Yeah.
difference between lead generation and client attraction, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny how when we reach we being in corporate, I've been in corporate also, not for the Fortune 100, but small corporate, 50 million was the biggest company I worked for with 100 people. Um, it's funny how we forget that all the stuff we learned back then applies today too. They
Absolutely, yes.
they call that the voice of the customer. Back in the 90s, I think is what when I just first heard about that, and we were excited about that. It's like, yeah, what a concept! Actually, listening to your customer and tuning into what they need instead of just selling them what you think they want. Wow, what a powerful way to approach business. And of course, there's lots of opportunity for doing that these days because of the technology that's out there.
Mhm.
So how do you get around to so you got to ask the right questions,
Mhm.
and then you've got to get those questions in front of the right people. And when you're just first starting out, you don't really have you might not have a list. What are some of the ways that you can attract them? So number one, you can build a list, and I think maybe your quizzes or your questions might be a key to that. So how do you approach that?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, a quiz, if we're going to talk about it as a client attraction tool or lead generation tool, it's an excellent way to collect, to build your list and collect those emails, but also to build that rapport and that authority, respect and trust. So I always start with the first gap, actually, which is a lot of entrepreneurs tend to talk about their clients' problems, or the problems that they solve in a way that doesn't resonate with their ideal clients. Because as entrepreneurs and as people that have fixed the problem or have a fix to the problem, our language is a little different than the people that are in the problem right now. So I call it the 3 a.m. question. What's that 3 a.m. question that your ideal client is waking up and thinking to themselves? But the key to that is not only is it just your ideal client, so don't try to solve all the world's problems. What's the problem that your ideal client has? But what is it that in their language? Like, how do they like kind of jolt awake and think, oh my goodness, because I can guarantee you, Paul, that very few people in the world jolt awake thinking, I wish I had a quiz funnel.
Yeah.
Like very few people say that to themselves, right? Like there's me,
You wish they did.
There's maybe Ryan Levesque, there's maybe Russell Brunson and myself. I don't know. Like I can probably count them on one hand, but they do wake up thinking, oh my gosh, my business is, I like on a downswing, I need more clients, or how do I get in front of the right audience, or how do I there are language patterns that they use or ways that, and it's usually very simple. It's like, I just need more money. I need for why do they need you? And so really understanding that 3 a.m. question and what's jolting them awake in their language is key to, one of the communication gaps that might be stopping you or your messaging from really hitting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that language in their language is that's their community. That's the number one gap, right? The trying to determine what that question is. I mean, like some of my clients, they build it thinking that they're going to come, and they create programs and things that they would like to, or they think that you need. They think that you need this thing, but it's not what you want. And so you need to break through that gap, to really discover that. And that seems to be hard for some people. How come, how do you get to that? So how do you break down learning that language, that love language, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I mean, ideally, the best way is to ask consumers. So like to actually go out, network with your ideal clients and ask them straight up, like what's keeping you up at night? What are the words are you using? Like listen for the language. If you don't have a really big pool of people around you though, there are lots of free ways that you can do it. So you can get on Google and search your topic, right? Search for how do I attract more ideal clients, and see what ads come up. So see who your competitors are and what they're saying. And then scroll down and see what else is coming. Like, what does the search engine tell you is coming up for people? Like, how are people putting it? I did this actually for how do I attract more leads, and then how do I attract more ideal clients? And I realized for my business, I wanted to be talking about client attraction, because lead generation, when people brought that up, it was very tool oriented. It was very kind of the platforms like LinkedIn and some of the sales strategies and outbound calls and things of that nature that I don't really do. So I realized that my messaging needed to switch a little bit because it wasn't actually resonating the way that I was putting it in. So, refining that 3 a.m. question and really getting into your, what your clients are searching for on Google. Another tip on Google is that right at the top, you might have seen before when you type in any search term like your topic, right at the top of the search bar is, as the results come up, are things like images, or videos. There's also news. So if you click on the news, you'll see who's writing about your topic and what they're writing about. So is Forbes writing about you? Is Entrepreneur writing about you? Is, the Atlantic Journal, or, like who's writing about you? And what are they saying, and kind of what's the point of view, and so on. So you can kind of get a lay of the land of the language, if you will. You can also go on to Amazon, put your topic into Amazon, and in particular the books. What books have been released in the last 90 days? Take a look at their titles, take a look at their summaries. Those publishers and those authors have already done all the keyword search indexing for you and all that research. So you can kind of play around, and not all of, like, these are not one and done in the sense of, oh, I did the Amazon search and now I've got my 3 a.m. questions sorted. I do all of these things and kind of, to get a really good sense of the overview. So number one, I would talk to your ideal clients, just, flat out, market research. But if you don't have them around, or you want to do some, other searching, there's always Google. You can go on to Amazon. You can even go on to Apple and Spotify. Bring up the podcasts that are in your topic area. So you kind of want to, you kind of want to be in your clients. Like if I were the client and I'm typing, to find me, like the solution that I provide, what are some of the words? Like, you're almost reverse engineering that to get into that 3 a.m. question.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. Some good tips. Earlier, I had an interview with, we were talking about getting topics for emails, and he mentioned similar things, looking at the table of contents of books, looking at reviews, especially negative reviews, because the negative reviews can reveal what some of those pain points are. Now,
and what somebody's missing still.
Yeah. And what about Chat GPT? Have you messed around with that at all with doing that?
I love Chat GPT for brainstorming. I don't love it for telling me what my audience is actually saying, because Chat GPT is taught to listen for my tone. So it's always trying to mimic how I write.
Yeah.
So for me to go out and say, like it's great to say, what are the top 5 challenges that entrepreneurs are having right now with client attraction? Yeah. Brilliant. Perfect. But to get into the nuances of the language, I don't want to trust just Chat GPT, just because of the way that it is designed to give you answers, is to guess the way that you talk. Right.
Excellent answer. Yeah. I think those conversations that you see going to forums and in groups and LinkedIn, influencers and things like that are in your space, looking at those conversations and getting in conversations, doing some networking. That it does take time, but it's so worth it when you can understand who your audience is and what their problems are. And I hadn't thought of their language. That's
you can go into
entering into what's going on in their mind, in their head.
Yeah, you can go into a Facebook group and go into the search bar at the top, put in your topic, or put in something like, has anyone had a problem with, or I need help with. If you put that into the search bar of a larger Facebook group, like maybe one of the coaches that have, like, the hundreds of thousands of people in a group, it will come up with all the people that have ever posted, I'm having a challenge with. Yeah. And you can see what people are actually saying, like in posting, right? Like, I'm having a challenge with, connecting my tech with, through Zapier. Is anyone else having this problem? Or, whatever that conversation happens to be for you. But you can put in things like, does anyone have a solve for, or has anyone run into, just really generic questions like that in those larger Facebook groups. See what people are posting about, what they're tripping up on. That might be something that can help you, and you could write a post about, or you can write a blog about, or do a video on, or like do an email marketing campaign on.
Awesome. So now that we've had some places to look for, why do businesses need to ask more and more questions? What does that help them do?
So if you understand the problem that your client has and you have the solution, and so if you're in a room and somebody says, I have this problem, and you immediately jump on them with a solution and say, oh my gosh, I have the perfect solution for you. You just have to give me $5,000. A, it's creepy. And B, It's a little like proposing marriage on the first date.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if your solution, like even though the problem and you have a solution for, you don't know if your solution is right for that person. You don't know if that's your ideal client, and you don't know if you're their ideal person yet. So having a little bit of a conversation, what I call a coffee chat, right?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're having this problem? Okay, well, let me ask a few more questions, just like you would with a friend that comes to you and says, you know what, Paul, I'm having a problem with my lead generation. Can we just sit down and talk? You would probably ask me a couple of questions before you go straight into answer mode, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing with your business now? Do you have a lead magnet? How is it performing? Where are you putting it out there? Like, how are you getting visibility? Like, there's some things that you would ask that would lead people down the path of thinking, oh, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm not doing that. I am doing that. I should be doing more of this. Okay. Where do you want to be 12 months from now?
And I can't answer that.
Right. And where do you want to be 12 months from now? I want to be twice as far along as I am now. Okay, well, given what you've just asked me and what I want, there's a gap. And then you can come in and say, oh, okay, well, you know what? It looks like there's some systems things that are going on. So we should probably talk about systems, or, maybe it's, there's some visibility things. You're just not getting out in front of enough people. So let's talk about visibility. So there might be a couple of different, actually, kind of sub solutions almost, that you can give people. And then they're like, oh, that's great. And these are actionable things. These are the quote unquote lead magnet side of the quiz, where you've gone through, you've asked them some questions. They have, sorry, I'm having an echo. Can you hear me?
I can.
So they have gone through and they have answered those questions. They have they've thought about it, and now you've offered some solutions to them. And now they think, oh my gosh, Paul is in my head. This is amazing. He's reading my mind. I want to work further with him. And then you can invite them to the next step.
Right. Okay.
So
you use those initial 3 a.m. gap questions to enter into a conversation, right?
Yeah. Well, you use a 3 a.m. question that they're struggling with to say, like maybe it's what's stopping you from going from 6 to 7 figures? Maybe that's like, or what's your coaching superpower? Right? Like, what's going to stop the scroll? What's going to get them to stop and kind of go, ooh, I want to know that. Like, I want to know what that means. And then you can kind of say, oh, you're having this kind of challenge. Let's have a coffee chat. Right? Let's have a little bit of chat, 5 to 8 questions. And then provide a solution. Like systems, or, oh, it's visibility. And you know what? Get on more podcasts, go to, the podcast network group and go to Need a Guest, and do that. And then you can invite them to the next step. So you've had a little bit of a courtship. You've had a little bit of a conversation that you've got this problem. Yes. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's get a little deeper. Here's a couple of things you can do. And now let's take any other further conversation offline and get deeper with that.
Right. So how does the process of like putting the quiz together and hosting it and sharing it and getting people to it, how does that work?
So the process of putting it together is really sitting down, understanding that 3 a.m. question, figuring out the story between the problem and the solution that you can ask in question format. And once you have that and you've got a few solutions for them, then you go into programming. So there are a number of different programs that you can host your quiz on. And you put that out online, but that's where most people stop. So they put it out and they put it on their website and they're like, yay, and they spend all this time and resources, and then their quiz sits there and has no traffic. Right. So your quiz is thirsty. it needs people. You need to feed it. So you want to be using it everywhere you can. So every networking call, every speak to sell, every podcast, that's your free gift, your summits, your book, your speak to sell, whatever, your your joint venture partners. You want to be dropping your quiz so that you get more and more people taking it. As more and more people take it, you realize any tweaks to optimize it, that kind of thing, make it really leveraged and really working for you. And that's the kind of, it's not a one-hit wonder. It's something that, you should be using as part of your strategic plan.
Okay. And are there, of course, I'm a techie guy, so there are sometimes so if you're hosted somewhere else, if you're on social media, you're probably going to want to have a different platform or tool than you would if you had it on your website, because the social platforms want you to stay on their site. So you may have to use that quiz in multiple forms and host it in different ways. Is that right?
So what I have seen people do is host a landing page on their website that people can go to for the quiz. And then as soon as they hit take the survey, it goes to the quiz platform. So if you go from Facebook to the landing page, and then the landing page will take you to the quiz, whether that's embedded in the website or in another quiz platform. Excuse me. What I like about that is that once you're in the quiz platform, you have a lot more flexibility to be asking different questions. So if you're dealing with weight loss, or you're dealing with supplements, or you're dealing with things like money and finances, and asking questions around that on a platform that is public can be very challenging and can get you in a little bit of trouble. So taking it off platform is actually what you want. Not that Facebook wants you to, but there are ways to do that. Right.
Okay. Gotcha. And plus, those quiz platforms are intelligent. So based on how you respond, how the user responds to certain questions, you can raise other questions, and you can kind of sort them. You can sort them, and they self-qualify by going through that quiz mechanism. Isn't that right?
They self-qualify, and then they decide to take the next steps with you, which is sign up for your webinar or sign up for your sales call, or they're done. They take their lead magnet and they off they go. But they're in your community now. You have their email list, so you can build and nurture them. I love it personally when somebody actually drops off my quiz. Right? Like if somebody's just like, "Oh, this is weird. Like I don't want to answer these questions anymore." They're probably not my people. So they're not my ideal clients. So that's okay. Right. Because I don't want them in my webinar necessarily. I don't want them in my like on my calendar, because I only want to talk to people that are actually high converting. Right. So they're ideal clients already. They're ready to buy. So I would rather be talking to people like, 100 people in a room where 90 people are ready to buy than 10,000 people in a stadium trying to find the 100 people to find the 90 people to buy. I want to kind of keep that, that webinar, that masterclass, that one-on-one conversation to a select, ready to go folks.
Right. And so, speaking of follow-up, so let's talk about that. So what happens? So you've got traffic to your quiz. You've kind of tweaked it. You know how it's operating. You're spreading it around. It's getting visibility. You've got people coming through it. So you know what your conversion rates are, and you're starting to get some good data. And while they go through this process, they get onto your mail list, your email list, right? And so there's a follow-up sequence that you follow. Can you talk about that and how I know that there's some selection going on, but just kind of give us an idea of how that works.
Yeah. So as people go through the quiz, they're answering those questions. You're collecting that information, but they're also being bucketed or out, like they have different outcomes. So we had used the a couple of examples before where, if lead generation, maybe it's your IT system that you're having troubles with, or maybe it's your visibility. You can flag those people on your database in your CRM to say, this person has, came through the quiz and was, challenged with visibility. And this other person was challenged with IT. Now you kind of know how you can customize your follow-up based on talking to them about visibility or about IT. And you can kind of, make sure that the offers that you are sending to them, and make sure that any joint venture affiliate offers that you're sending to them are aligned with what you know from the quiz, so that you are actually taking advantage of the personalization and customization that you now have available to you. So you're able to say, oh, everyone that has a visibility problem, I'm going to make sure that they are invited to the next Need a Guest marketing event, because visibility is what they need, and I want to help the people that need visibility. So that's a way that you can use it in your CRM.
Gotcha. And so this all sounds kind of sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
How does a solo entrepreneur, a team of one, get some of this done? I know that there are some simple tools that you can use, like you could use Google Forms, for instance, for a quiz to do that, and a simple autoresponder to do that. So how do you get all this done when you're kind of on a limited budget?
Great question. So I would not use Google Forms, only because even 5 to 8 questions is going to make it look like a mortgage application form. And you don't want that, right? You want it to be fun and innovative. You can use jot forms to do it.
Okay.
If you have there's still some programming at the back end to make sure that you can give individuals their individual outcomes. You don't want to just program a quiz and everyone get the same outcome, and kind of do that, because people will find out and they'll get mad. Now it's a bait and switch. It's not really a quiz. You just made me go through this and everyone gets the same answer. That's not fair.
Yeah. Right.
So you want to make sure that you are customizing to a certain extent. So you can, sorry, folks, I'm getting over COVID. You can definitely do jot forms. There are lots of, budget-friendly quiz platforms out there. Try Interact is another one that is actually a quiz platform that you can use. It has a light version of its plans, so that it's very budget-friendly for people. So there are lots of ways to do it, but just make sure it looks like a quiz, not a mortgage application, and that it's fun and people can have some interaction with it.
Right. What was the name of that again? Try Interact?
Yeah. Try Interact with a T.
Okay. Try Interact. Okay. And jot forms, I'm familiar with that. I had not heard of Try Interact, but yeah, I'm sure there's lots of other things. And then you can use that platform to add people into your autoresponder. You can tag them or segment them. And then you have automation in your simple automation in MailChimp or Aweber or whatever you're using to send them different follow-up messages, or you can even use tagging to have a same message merge in different content, different types of content. So you can do it lots of different ways. Seek your Lead Machine growth show and Catherine, the quiz queen, to help you through that. So can you maybe share some of the results that some of your clients have gotten? That'd be real interesting to hear about.
Yeah. So when I first found Quiz Funnels, I tested it on my own network marketing business, which hadn't been going well for quite a number of months. And what I found was that I tripled my leads and I doubled my sales. And that was all because I got really super focused and clear on the problem that I was solving in the language that people understood. And I got really clear on what I was offering. So the clarity that comes through in doing this process is something that is a bonus that people don't expect. So the messaging got super clear, and also having the right people in the sales conversation, whether that's the webinar, a masterclass, the one-on-one call, the higher the quality of the people that are on that call, the better your conversion rates are bound to be. So, as you get better quality into the room to begin with, it's just going to be easier to close your sales. And so that's when I took it to my friends and said, "Oh, this is really cool. This is what I did. Like, let's see if it's a one-hit wonder or not." And then got similar results for them. But I know that I have one client who has they have one of the, I think there's only 3 other people in the world that can certify for recovery coaches. And they have created a quiz called what power, or what's your coaching superpower? And the way that they go through it is saying, oh, well, you're an empathetic coach, for example, based on these questions. That means that you're really great for coaching because you can, you have the empathy and you can feel your clients. However, your kryptonite is, not setting boundaries and so on. Here's a couple of things that you can do to keep yourself, safe and guard your energy. And if you want to learn more about, why you'd be great for this program, get on a call. And what they noticed was that once people went through the quiz, that the calls were not even sales calls. It was more of a, how do I get started? Here's my credit card kind of thing. How do we go? So that definitely helped their conversion rates. Because they vetted, it was a vetting system, and they were able to all of a sudden go from convincing and spending a lot of time on the phone to really quick calls to say program A or program B. So that was the Merge Go Academy. So yeah,
it's interesting how often, and I've experienced it myself, how powerful getting clear on who your audience is, what their problem is, what your solution for that problem is, what you want to offer, what the promise of your offer is, and those questions, that language, getting all that lined up, that takes work. And that's the kind of work that an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest jobs in the world, because nobody understands you. And the people who are successful at it are the ones who do that work, and who take the time to do that and break things down, which a lot of people don't want to do because it takes time, and they want to get here, but they got to start.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
It's doable and it's foundational. So if you want to scale, you have got to know who you're talking to. And honestly, the tighter that you are and the clearer that you are, the more your prices will go up. The easier it becomes to find the people that you're looking for, because now you're not looking for everybody, because you can't find, you can't see this forest for the trees. So the tighter you are, the clearer you are, the easier it is to find people, the easier it is for you to talk about what you do, for them to understand you and continue the conversation. So it makes a big difference when you are super clear and your messaging lands that way. Your messaging will find its target.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds great. So are there any other tools that we haven't mentioned here what's your favorite tech stack for doing this?
Ooh, my favorite tech stack. That's a great question. I do love my Chat GPT. I've got to say, I do love it for brainstorming ideas around, what is this kind of entrepreneur challenged with, or so on. I don't rely on it wholly, but I like it for brainstorming. That's a new one. I've gone down the rabbit hole of images lately on AI, Midjourney.
Midjourney.
Yeah. So for webinars and for slides and things like that. Don't know if that's incredibly helpful, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And my other tech stack, I use ConvertKit for my emails, which I do like. And I have Groove for my landing page, which um, is pretty good. And then Try Interact is my go-to quiz programming software.
Yeah, ConvertKit has landing pages, but you really can't do much with them. And they're gorgeous. They look great, and ConvertKit's it's got a nice platform, but I don't know if they've ever fixed the undo button. But some of my clients they jump ship because of the undo. They just said, "Man, where's the undo button?"
Yeah, I don't use it for landing pages. I do like it for the CRM. I like it for the automations.
The automation, solid.
Yeah. But I don't actually use it for the landing pages if I can avoid it.
So you host your landing pages and your website on Groove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
That's Mike Filsame's platform, I think.
Yeah, I met Mike at the Marketers Cruise last year. So.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So, did we miss anything? Is there anything that you want to add?
I don't think so. I think it's really just about getting curious. Get curious about what your clients are going through, what they're saying to themselves in their head at that 3 a.m. moment. And that will help you go a long way to tightening up your message and making sure that you're talking to the right people, the people that you want to talk to.
Right. Okay. And so as we wrap up with your final words, what are 3 things that our listeners can do to put these ideas into action? I love this part. I always love this question.
Yeah. So you can absolutely go to Google, type your topic in and find some, articles that are being written about your topic, but also find what people are searching for and make sure that it's landing with what you were hoping that they're searching for. Check out Amazon and check out the books. And then also check out YouTube and podcasts like Apple and Spotify to see what YouTube channels and what podcasts are kind of getting the most attention in your topic, and see if there's anything that you can align from that as to what your clients are asking.
Uh-huh. And then, of course, so research your topic, and then you've got to sort through all that research that you've done and pick out the top of mind problems. I use ChatGPT to help me with that sometimes. Yeah. When you define your audience, you can, and I've got a real strong buyer persona or avatar that I've done, and I use ChatGPT to figure that out. Yeah. And then pick your tool that you're going to use, right?
For the quiz.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm less about there's lots of tools out there. So pick one that's in your budget, pick one that is going to give you the number of leads that you want. Pick one that's going to give you the data. Because some of them will only give you the email and the outcome, and they won't give you the data from the questions. Because that's where the hidden gold is for as you build your business out. So make sure you're getting your data.
Okay, so that's a good question or a good point. So what about the data that's important? So that there's the email and the answers to the questions. Some platforms don't give you that. Some of
them will make you pay more to make sure to get that. So just be aware of that.
I'll pay more for it to get it. Yeah. That's where you learn more about their languaging, and you can write. You can take that and you can create articles and topics and things like that from it too, right?
Well, and you actually, I mean, as you get more and more traffic, you get more and more sample size, and with more sample size, you actually now have proprietary data that you can quote. So now you have information for your PR releases or your articles or your posts. You can say 80% of, and actually cite yourself as a proprietary data source. And you can also, I've had clients that look at their data and think to themselves, oh geez, there are way more people in this one group than I thought, and I don't have a lot for them. I need to create an offer. So there may be some innovation that you're missing out on by not looking at your data.
Right. And we were talking about this earlier about asking more questions. And, one of those questions is, what else? Mm-hmm. What else? And you can create an offer right there. My friend Jim Palmer does that. Mm-hmm. he said, "Well, wouldn't you know? That's funny that you should ask that question." And so Catharine has an amazing gift. It's called Uncover the Missing Gaps That Stop You from Getting More Clients Now. And it's www.quizformybiz.com. That's QUIZFORMYBIZ.com. And if you go there, you're going to get a quiz, right? And from there, people can connect with you there also. And find you. I know you're on LinkedIn, and I know that you're on Facebook because we've connected on both those places. And so, thank you so much for being on the Catharine O'Leary, the Quiz Queen. She's helping us to up our client attraction game, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And remember, faith and action go hand in hand. So put the pedal to the metal. And until next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show. Signing off, I'm Paul Guyon. Thanks again, Catharine.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lead Machine Growth Show with Paul Guyon, where we show you how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream so that you can transform your vision into reality. Remember to visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com. and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show.